All right, welcome back, guys, to the masterclass. We got Steli Efti. I'm a big fan of you, man. Been stalking you on the internet for a while. We got to hang out for a bit, but thanks for joining. So, for
Hey,
those,
thank you so much for having me.
you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Yeah, so my name is Steli Efti. I am the one of the co-founders and CEO of a company called Close.io. And what we do is very simple. We offer small and medium-sized businesses around the world and startups around the world an inside sales CRM. So a piece of software that helps you to do a lot more calls, a lot more emails, hopefully close more deals and really drive growth and revenue for your business.
Awesome, man. It's an awesome tool. And I know you guys do a little bit of outreach, so we're kind of competing on some parts of it, but all good. I like to be friends with all the competition so we can better the industry. So I want to talk to you about B2B cold outreach, and you've done a lot of this, right? Um,
Yeah.
what's your take on kind of writing a winning email? How do you go about doing that?
I think that if you think about email like you would think about product development
Hmm.
and you really thought about user experience, I think that philosophy is really the foundation of everything I do in my outreach.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll think very fundamentally like about who's the person that's receiving my email. What does their inbox look like? What does their day look like? If I want to get into their inbox, if I want to get their attention, if I want them to open my email, and then more importantly, if I want them to read what I have to say and respond to it, how do I have to structure the entire experience in a way where it is both engaging without being misleading, and it's kind of the most powerful and trust building exercise. So the person that receives the email feels like I really understand them and I care about them, and feels like I have something to say worth listening to. And at the end of that email, I want the person that receives the email, sometimes they'll go, this is not right now for me, but I still appreciate how different this sounds and reads and feels from everything else that I'm getting. And sometimes they'll go, this is perfect timing. I want to engage and interact with Steli. But that's really the foundation of everything I do, is trying to put myself in the position of the person that I'm trying to reach and think about the email as an entire experience from the moment it's in their inbox to them opening them, to them reading, to them responding, and then what happens next. And I want that to be a cohesive first step in our relationship.
That makes sense. So you're saying don't send these 500-word emails where it's hard to figure out the point.
Don't do it unless your buyer is somebody that is A, bored, B, does not get enough emails and has an empty inbox and loves to read 500-word poems where at the very end you reveal what you really want from them. I don't know anybody that fits that profile. So yes, I would agree with you. Don't send emails that are super long and where you basically tell your prospect, I don't care about you. I haven't thought about your day or your time constraints, and I'm not respecting neither your time nor my time, right? If that's the way you start the relationship, most people are going to run for the hills.
Yeah, fair enough. So where do you think, when sales reps are creating these outreach emails or sending these emails, what do you think they go wrong? Like, where do you see people always just failing?
I think where people always fail is not understanding the person they're trying to reach, and not understanding who they're competing with, right? So I'll give you a good example. I'm sure you get the same amount of emails in that regard as I do. I get like, I don't know, maybe 40 emails every day that don't get into my spam folder, that are about some outsourced web development firm that wants to do, some product for us or some features or some web dev. And all of them instantly, if you're in my inbox, you just get deleted, right? I don't really care. A few days ago, I got an email from somebody, and the first sentence he wrote was, Steli, I'm pretty sure you're getting hundreds of web development firms emailing you. I'm sure you just delete all of them. Please just give me three more sentences before you make that final call on this email. And I was like, wow, like, honestly, I don't want a web development firm right now, but I'm going to give you my time. I'm going to give you three more sentences because you know who you're competing with, because you realize how my inbox looks like, and because you have a certain level of authenticity and empathy that makes me go, this might be different this time, right? So I think most salespeople, they send emails that look exactly like their competitors, that pollute the inbox of their prospect, and then they wonder, why is nobody responding to my email? Well, why should they, right?
That totally makes sense. Yeah, I think knowing the customer, which you probably, if you're a sales rep, you're probably already talking to customers. You already know a lot about them. Just recall those conversations. and what made people tick, right? At the
And
very
I'll
least.
give Yeah, and I'll give you a hack on this. Sometimes people ask me, Steli, how can I improve this email? And they send me their template, and I'll look at it. And sometimes it's easy to tell what to change. Sometimes it's not. When it's not, because I don't understand the industry or the type of customer they're trying to reach, I just tell them, hey, does anybody ever respond to this? They go, yeah, some people do. I say, do some people open and not respond to this? Yeah. And do some people not respond at all? Yeah, cool. How about calling each of these three segments and asking them why? Either, hey, I sent you a quick email, you ignored it, totally cool. Just one piece of advice from you. What made you think that this was a waste of your time? Right? Learn from them. But even more importantly, when somebody responds and wants to get on a call with you as a sales rep, instead of just instantly jump into your pitch, how about just taking one moment and go, hey, thank you for responding to my email. Let me quickly ask out of curiosity, what made you want to engage with me? I'm sure you get tons of emails. Let your prospects and customers educate you on what works in your email or what doesn't work in your email, what was good and what was bad, and improve and iterate on that.
Love it. Yeah, it's like doing customer research on the fly, right? Or customer development. I love it.
Yeah, so don't just sell, learn how to improve the way you sell and learn it from your customers and from your prospects, not just from experts like you and I and other people. Learn it from your customers directly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. Like we can talk theory and we can talk our experience all day long, but that only goes so far. You have to go do the damn work and get the feedback live, because that's
Yeah.
gonna be more value than listening to 10 hour. I love, by the way, that one. You got a message from people listening to one person listening to 263 episodes in like a week, and they said,
Yeah.
"What's the key takeaway? Talk to your customers."
Talk to customers. Yeah, they
Same
did. They
thing.
did a decision tree based on the Startup Chat podcast. It was like, here's what I learned after hearing 260 episodes. When you don't have a product, talk to customers and then start developing. When you have a product and you're developing features, talk to your customers. Not developing features, talk to like it's just everything the tree goes down to. Just go talk to your customers.
Love it, love it. You can't go wrong with that. But let me ask you about the call to action, the ask. When people are asking for something, right? So they've got this email, they've maybe got somebody hooked a little bit. Um, how do you go about going for an ask, or what's your approach on thinking through that?
Yeah, again, like most of the advice that I have to offer is pretty basic, but it is working. Most of the mistakes I see when it comes to call to actions are that most sales reps commit one of two sins. Either they don't ask for a call to action at all, right? They kind of leave me hanging as the reader. They're like, here's what our company does, here's all the solutions we provide, here's everything, da 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 da. And we'd love to hear from you. Like, so what am I supposed to do now? Like, what do you want from me,
Yeah.
sir or lady? Right? So they either don't ask for a call to action, or they have too many calls to action. Hey, you please see attached presentation. Here's a link to a video you can watch. Here's our website. You can sign up for a free trial, and if you'd like, we want to have a call. Well, buddy, like I can't like stop my work for the next 3 months to do all this work that you put on my table. Just take it easy. Give me one simple, clearly defined call to action that makes sense for me, not just for you, right? So ideally, in many cases, if you're reaching out, you probably want to jump on a call and explore further if this is working or not. You need to sell me on how much time this call is going to take or why it's going to be worth my time. And then please suggest to me when this week would be a good time to do that, so that it's easier for me to do. If you give me 2 times, 2 days and 2 times in the day, I can just look at my calendar and go, can I do this? Is
Yeah.
this a busy day? Yes or no? If you tell me, Steli, please let me know in the next 3 quarters, when is a good time to talk? Now again, I have to go into my calendar and I'm like, when is the best day that I would like to talk to this person? Just makes it more complicated. So stick to one call to action. Make sure you do have a call to action. Make that call to action simple for me to agree to, and give me usually 2 or 3 options versus giving me an open-ended question. If you do that, you're going to be in much better shape than most people are.
Yeah, because it sounds like what you said is give me a yes or no, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like checking your schedule, nope, not available those 2 days. And if they got your curiosity, you might say any other times, right? That's a maybe,
yeah.
but yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you're saying make it super easy ultimately. All right, let's move on. I've got one more question for you. It's all follow-ups. I know I've read a bunch of your stuff, seen a lot of videos. You've said follow up forever, right? At least previously. What's your take on it
Yes.
now?
Still, I do. So I do believe that showing up is a very crowded space. Showing up can be the first prospecting email that you send. That's a very crowded space. Lots of people compete with you. It's in the follow up and follow through where nobody else competes. Everybody else quits of your competitors. So if you're more persistent and consistent than your competitors, you're going to crush it. Now, I have a simple rule. If there is a warm connection, if we had a call, a meeting, an introduction with some kind of a warm, like we talked a little bit or we had some kind of an exchange, my follow-up philosophy is follow up forever until you get a response. Yes is good, no is good. Maybe is where sales careers and startups go to die, right? So I don't allow anything to stay in the middle of the funnel without any clear conversion. Now, obviously, this needs to be worth your while, right? If you sell something that's worth 50 cents a decade, then you probably can't afford to do that manually. Maybe you'll automate that. But a warm relationship, you follow up forever. That's my philosophy. When it's a cold relationship, I don't necessarily believe that you should follow up forever, that you have the social credit to do so. But I do believe that if you're not ready to follow up at least 6 to 8 times on a cold relationship, don't even bother sending the first email, right? You'll have to follow up a number of times. And the reason why follow up is important is because timing matters, right? You could have the perfect message for the perfect prospect and they might really love it and want to engage with you. If it's the wrong moment in time, they're not going to respond, right? If it's a day that's super busy and their inbox is flooded with messages, your email is now off in inbox nirvana, never to be seen again. They might open your email and go, oh, I really want to engage with this person. And then they interrupt it with a phone call, or they got sick, or something happens in their life. Their world doesn't revolve around you. So it's your job to check in with them a few times to increase the chance that the timing is going to be right when they're going to be looking at your email and thinking, I can respond now, right? I know what I want to say, and it's the right time for me to say it or to respond to it. So when you, in a warm relationship, I really follow up indefinitely if the deal is worth it. I've closed deals on the 48th follow-up, and I get emails every week of people that have closed $1 million deals, raised money, got all kinds of massive accomplishments because they say, Steli, I followed your follow-up advice, and it was the 17th follow-up or the 23rd follow-up. You can accomplish a lot there. When it's a cold outreach, 6 to 8, make sure you have that strategy, that follow-up strategy already in place before you start the first outreach, and you're going to see a much better success rate at the end of the campaign.
Nice. So have the whole sequence of what you want to send or what you want to do overall, so everything is
Yeah.
concise. What or works together. So what in the email, in the follow-up emails, do you have any advice for like what people should say? Because I feel like everyone just keeps saying, I wanted to follow up to blah blah blah. Interested? I don't know. It's always the same stuff, and there's
Yeah.
this crazy
Yeah.
chicken in the middle somewhere.
Crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's trying to be funny in the follow-up. I've
Yeah.
written about this before. So I think there's many strategies. Again, just to highlight, even if you're not creative at all, right? Even if you have no brilliant, funny, interesting ways of doing the follow-up, I really, highly encourage you to just even if your follow-ups are poor, like just, hey, I wanted to follow up, want to respond? Hey, I want to follow up again. This is not great, but it's still going to yield you better results than not doing it.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you one good follow-up email template that I don't see too often, so I want to share it with your audience here, which is the 1, 2, 3 template, right? So a lot of times people don't respond to an email because there's friction in decision making. They think maybe this is interesting, but they still got some questions for you. Maybe there's something else going on. So because it takes them time to respond and to formulate their sentences and their thoughts, that just having to think about how to write back to you might be enough friction for them to never do it. So after the fourth or fifth follow-up, what you can do is you can send the 1, 2, 3 template where you basically follow this format. You say, hey, I pinged you a number of times. I will make an assumption that one of these 3 scenarios is at play right now, right? And you can customize this for your industry in your case, but just as an example, it could be either number one, you have no interest in what I've offered, and you will never have any interest. You already know this in the next 30 years, and you really just want me to stop communicating to you. Or number 2, you have some interest, you have some curiosity, but just not the right time. Right now, you're busy with other things, and you would love for me to check in with you again by this date. Or number three, and now you can be a little funny or cheeky if you want to. You fall down your staircase and you need somebody to call the ambulance. But you can't reach your phone or whatever. Here's what I want you to do. Please don't just hit reply and put in a number, 1, 2, or 3, and send, and I'll take care of the rest. Right? So what you're telling the prospect is you don't have to write sentences. You have to just tell me what of these 3 or 4 scenarios is it, and I'll take it from there. You'll see a really, really great response rate usually to that email. People will respond at a much higher rate. And some will even respond and then write out, oh my God, this is such a funny format. Thank you for doing this. This is so thoughtful. I have all kinds of people that send me these, forward me these emails, responses they get. People, again, they appreciate, oh my God, finally a person is trying to save me time here, right? and is making my life easier. So that's a follow-up template. It's a little funny, a little cheeky, smart, and thoughtful, and that I've seen having great results with.
Awesome. Steli, thank you for joining. I think you've dropped a lot of knowledge bombs here and a lot of fundamentals I think people can follow along and then talk to their customers and apply the fundamentals. Where can people reach you, find you, stalk you?
If people want to reach me,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so people can always get directly in touch with you. I'd love to hear from you, people. So just Steli, Steli, at close, like closing a deal.io. You can check out the podcast is at thestartupchat.com. That's a URL, and you can listen to some episodes. We talk a lot about acquisition, sales, and all that good stuff. And then if you have not yet, check out my blog, blog.close.io. Lots of tactical advice for startups and sales teams out there.
Awesome. Thanks, Steli, and have a good day.
Thank you so much.